Hi guys, I'm so excited for today's video because today I have a new release from Ace Beaute that I'm going to show you, and I cannot wait for you to see these. You may have seen them already. I'm probably going to post this the day after it gets revealed or the day it gets revealed, kind of depending on when I'm done with this video. But they have come out with 2 new palettes and these are absolutely stunning. So looking at the front of these, you would maybe think that these are going to be like a monochromatic palette. That's kind of what I thought when I first got them in the mail and I didn't know what they were going to be like. But then I opened them and I was pleasantly surprised because they're not just boring monochromatic palettes. So this is the Envy palette. This is a green front, and then on the inside you have different colors and it's not just green. And I really like this color story. I think this is so beautiful. I think that this is very much kind of like my aesthetic. There's a lot of very dark mattes in this, and there's a lot of mid-tone to light shimmers. Exactly what I want in a palette. And the other palette as well is so beautiful. This is the Aura palette, and this palette looks like this. Honestly, when I first saw this, I was kind of taken aback by how pretty this looks. Like, I feel like they did such a good job incorporating like these neutrals together with the purples and the pinks, and it just all works so well together. Like, this is what I like in my kind of half and half palettes, and I think that the neutrals that are put in here are so stunning that I can't wait to play with them. Honestly, when I opened this palette, I saw the bottom row, I was like, I like those. Like, who have I become? I don't know, but I'm excited to play with these. I'm gonna do 2 looks with each palette. So we're gonna start with the Envy palette. I'm going to do my second look with this with you on camera, then I'll show you the other look that I've done. And we're gonna do the same with this palette. So these palettes are going to be available on the... And I do have a affiliated code with Ace Beaute. I think it's just Annette for 10% off. So that will help you save some money. And they may or may not have a Black Friday sale going on at the same time. I really don't know all of the information about all the different brands. I'm so sorry, but it's way too much to keep track of. But they might have a sale going on as well. So maybe you'll get these for a discount. I don't know as of this very moment when I'm filming this how much these palettes are going to be. But go ahead and just check out my description box. I will have all the information that I know at the time of posting that video down below. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into this. So I'm going to just start by priming my eyes with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. And I think for this look, I want to do something sort of graphic. I'm just sort of feeling that. I don't know, that's just what's on my mind. And I think that's just what I'm gonna go ahead and do. And I wanna play with the blues. I really want this to be a very blue look. I don't think I want to use any of the other shades. And so far, this formula seems like the very good Ace Beaute formula that I've come to really like. So I don't feel too bad if I don't use every single shade in both of the palettes when reviewing them, because like I said, I do feel like I know this formula quite well now. I think what I want to do is I want to use this very dark matte shade to create my winglet. So we're going to start with that. This is a shade called Covet, and I'm going to use that on my Rephr 23 brush. This is, I'm pretty sure, like one of their smallest brushes. They have one that's even smaller than this, but it's more of a liner brush. So this is a teeny tiny pencil brush, and I love using this for doing graphic looks because I can get thin and precise lines without having to use a liner brush. I almost find this a little bit easier to work with. So you're probably not going to see properly what I'm doing, but I'm going to start going up from the bottom of my lower lash line a little bit lower down, because I'm going to take a bit of this on my lower lash line as well, but not too much. So I'm just going to kind of smudge a little bit on the outer corner here just to create that line that it is that I want. I'm going to point this up towards my brow with my eyes open. If you haven't seen my latest tutorial that I did, which was a tutorial for hooded eyes, how to do like a wing shape on hooded eyes, this is going to be kind of similar. So I will link that up in the corner if you want to go check that out. But I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that this is nice and dark and opaque. And then I'm going to basically connect this to the top of the hood of my eye. And I think the only difference between this look and that look that I did in that tutorial is that I don't want to fill in the wing. I'm actually just going to leave it like this. I'm going to just do a little bit of this onto my lid as well, or kind of like onto my lash line. I can't really take this too far in because it is going to transfer up into my crease, and I don't want that, but I do want to have sort of that negative space in this liner. So it's going to look a little something like this. I'm gonna start in the front portion here, and I'm gonna use the shade called Crave, which is a bit of a lighter blue, but it's still quite dark, and I'm gonna use that. I'm not gonna take a lot of this. I'm just gonna do a little bit just in the front portion here and just create a little bit of sort of a half moon shape. Just kind of following the shape of my actual crease here. I'm not gonna meet this up or anything. I'm just gonna leave it like this, I think, because I just wanna have the tiniest amount of this shade just to create more of a shape. Kind of like this, and then I think all I want to do is just put a shimmer all over the lid as well as sort of into the wing, and I think I just want to use the very, very light blue shade. I think that could be kind of fun, and then maybe do a little pop of like one of the green shimmers on my lower lash line. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Should I put on any glitter primer? Let's just see how these shimmers are without any glitter primer. Did I use any in my first look? I feel like maybe I didn't, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up on my number 21 brush from Rephr, and I'm gonna make sure I get a lot of my brush here, and I'm actually gonna spray this a little bit because I do want this to be like nice and shiny. I just don't feel like putting on any glitter primer because I'm just lazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and basically fill in. I'm gonna tap on the crease a little bit here just to get a smooth space to put the shimmer on, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and put this all over the lid, and we're gonna see how it ends up looking. It might look crazy, it might look cool, who knows? There's only one way to find out, and that is by experimenting and not being afraid to mess things up or doing something that you haven't done before. So just, you know, try new things, see how it goes. It might look cool, it might look crazy, but at the end of the day, you'll never know if you don't try. So I easily could go in with another shade in the outer portion here, but I really just want to use this blue because it is so beautiful, and I love the contrast between the darker mattes and the shimmer is so pretty. Like, look at that. I love this look already. Like, this is gonna look so cool when it's done. I'm really just packing this all over where I have my blank space. I'm taking it into my wing here as well. This is very, very pretty. And then just to finish off with the shadow, so I'm gonna take this shade, which is called Vibes, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that on a very small pencil brush. I'm gonna spray this one as well, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of that right in the front portion of my lower lash line. And I think this is all I want to do for the eye look. I'm gonna do some turquoise, I think, in my waterline. This is the 04 liner from Udensai. I'm just gonna pop that in here real quick. And just because I think it would be really fun, I'm gonna put a rhinestone kind of right in between where the mattes are disconnected. And I'm gonna take these from Amazon. I'm gonna use one of the larger ones from this side. I can link these down below if you wanna go check them out. But I really, really like these rhinestones. I think that they're just so pretty. And I'm gonna use this little thing that I got from Kiss in a PR package. And this is their lash glue liner. So I'm gonna use that to just do a little dot of lash glue so that the rhinestone has something to stick to. Just gonna put that right there. And then I'm putting the rhinestone right on top. Yeah, that's cute, I like that. I think these are pretty even. Maybe this one's a little lower down, but I think in general, did a pretty good job with these. Like, once I start with the rhinestones, I could literally go forever, but I think I'm just gonna stick to one. And I'll probably do some lashes. Do I want to do lashes? I kind of don't want to do lashes today. Maybe I'll just do mascara since I do have my new Bad Gal Bang. I think that's gonna work out well. So I'm just gonna curl my lashes very nicely. And I did have someone ask me in the tutorial that I did if I could have shown the look without lashes, but honestly, I can't do my mascara the way that I would do my mascara if I'm gonna do lashes, because if I do, I just feel like I put on too much mascara and then my lashes are just in a way for the fake lashes for me to be able to actually put the lash on. So when I do lashes, I'll use my absolute least favorite mascara that I own that I think just sucks. And then I'll do the tiniest amount of mascara like on my lashes just so that they're black. And then I'll put the lashes on top and kind of squeeze them together. So the mascara is on. Can you see now what I mean? Like if I try to put on lashes over the top of this, like my own lashes would just be like in the way, and I don't think I'd be able to actually get a good lash application. But I just wanted to show you that you don't need to wear lashes in order to do graphic looks or anything like that, and it's totally fine to just use mascara. Just find one that you feel like does something for your lashes, something that you can actually see on your eyes when your eyes done, because I do feel like having that sort of blackness and definition really does make a look come alive. And it doesn't have to be with lashes, it can be with mascara as well. Just make sure it's a mascara that actually does something for your lashes. Personally, this has been my favorite for years now, is the Bad Gal Bang from Benefit. I love that mascara, so I think that's actually gonna be the look. I am gonna put on some highlighter though, and I'm gonna just use the Sugar Drizzle palette again. I'm kind of playing around with this, and I'm gonna use, it's so hard to know which shade to use. I think I'm gonna use this one. In the mirror, this one looks green. When I flip it, it looks kind of blue. So I think it's gonna probably look blue on the face. So I'm gonna use my Sigma brush because I do feel like this is the one that picks up this formula the best. So it was this one I wanted to use. I'm just kind of digging in because this is a bit of a putty formula. So you wanna make sure you get some on your brush and really dig in there, and I'm just gonna use that as my face highlights. This is beautiful. I mean, I really like the formula on this palette. It's just a little confusing sometimes to know what color you're gonna get on the face, since they are all duochromes, but they're so fun to play with, and I think that the effect it gives is just so pretty. It's very, very similar to the Super Shocks from ColourPop. If you try that highlighting formula, I think that you would really like this if you like that one. So I think this is gonna be the final first look with this palette. I can show you the second look that I've done with this as well, so you can check that one out, because I've had so much fun with this palette. I think that this palette has such a cool color story, and it makes me want to be creative and, you know, play around and see what I can come up with. And I feel like these looks, despite kind of having played with a lot of the same colors and like they're both green and blue, I feel like the looks were very different. And I also just wanted to make sure I did sort of different shapes with the two looks, because I never want my looks to become repetitive. Like I don't want you to click on my videos and just know what it is that I'm gonna do. I don't want to be that person who's like always doing the same thing but with different colors, you know? Like I really like to experiment, and I want to keep you on your toes. I want to keep you guessing, and I don't want to get in a makeup rut myself where I end up just doing the same thing all the time. And so when I do feel inspired, I really try to take advantage of that, because sometimes, of course, we all just want to do what we already know and we like on ourselves, but sometimes it's just fun to be creative and try something new as well, especially on days if you're not going anywhere. Like use that as an opportunity to try new things. Maybe if you're not used to using lashes, try using lashes for a day, because honestly, the only reason why I didn't used to wear lashes is just because I had tried a couple of times and I'd failed, and I was so scared of just never being able to properly get them on and looking like one of those people who don't know how to put on their lashes. And I always loved how lashes looked on other people, but I was just scared that I couldn't do it myself. And I feel like that fear is what a lot of people are experiencing, and it's a little bit of jealousy there as well. I feel like I was so jealous of the people who could do lashes every day, and apparently it was just so easy for them, and it took them 5 minutes, and all of a sudden they just look so glamorous with their lashes. And I was just like, I wish I could do that. But honestly, you can, you just have to practice. And I love my lashes now, because I find it so fun to be able to try new styles, and it's just another thing in makeup that can make me excited. And you know, the more makeup products that you have that make you excited, that you want to keep trying and playing around with, the more fun makeup is. So for me, you know, lashes is just another thing that I can experiment with and try on and maybe review for you guys, and just it makes me feel pretty. And so I don't feel like there should be any lash shaming. I have had a couple of people be like, I wish you didn't start wearing lashes because you were one of the few who didn't. You know what? I'm happy I did, because I proved to myself that I could, you know, and that's kind of what I wanted when I started wearing lashes. Was that I just wanted to, just because it was so easy for everybody else, I wanted it to be easy for me too. And I knew it took practice, and I practice, and I feel like I'm getting better at it. Still a work in progress, but I'm at the point now where I feel like I can put on lashes every single day, even though I have plans, even though I have to go somewhere. I don't feel like my lashes are going to come off during the day, and I don't feel like my application is ever going to be so bad that it's going to look bad. you know, like, yeah, sometimes it's a little wonky, but it is what it is. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the other look that I did as well. I really enjoy that look. I think that this first Envy palette here is such a cool color story. It's such a fun palette, and I'm so glad that Ace Beaute are coming out with these smaller palettes, because I feel like they are so good at coming up with unique color stories that it's nice to see them be able to execute smaller color stories in palettes like this. And I really hope that they stick with this format for a little while, because I just think that these are so fun. And I also I like the size of these palettes, and I would love to have like 10 of them. So Ace Beaute, please come out with more of these. Like, that would be really fun. I think we should just go ahead and get into the looks with the Aura palette as well. And I feel like the first look I end up doing is probably gonna end up having some of these neutrals in it, because I'm in my neutral phase, what can I say? And when I get a palette that I can use some neutrals along with colors in it, you better believe I'm gonna do that, because I will take full advantage. Now, before we get into the second look with the Ace Beaute palette, I got a package in the mail yesterday with all of the contour products from Kaleidos, so I thought we could try those out as well, because I'll be honest, I don't really have any interest in making a dedicated video on some contour product. I just don't find them that interesting. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. So I did use the setting powder under my eyes while I was doing my foundation, and it works fine. This is the brightening powder. I used mine in the shade Light. I'm sorry I didn't get any footage of that, but I just wanted to kind of try it a little bit as a first impression, and so far I like it. I mean, I'm not the best to review like non-colored powders. Like, if it looks good under my eyes, it looks good under my eyes, and that's pretty much it. And I'm sure you've all probably seen these already, so I'm not going to do swatches or anything like that. Again, I just don't find these products to be super interesting. I'm sure you can find swatches elsewhere. So these are the contour / bronzing palettes that I'll be able to use. So this is the light one, and this is the medium one. I feel like I'm gonna stick to the light today because I don't really have any summer tan left, and I feel like I'm gonna save the medium one for probably the summer, and I think that's gonna work fine. So we're gonna start by just doing a little bit of contour, which is not something that I do very often, but I feel like I'm really going to like these products because I really enjoyed the other palettes that they had in the past, and I almost panned that bronzer. I'm not much of a contour, but I do think that is a really nice kind of contour color on my skin tone. It's definitely showing up. It's not too pigmented. It's very smooth. It's going on very easily, blends out well. I mean, I don't really have any complaints at all about this powder. I think this is really nice. If I was more into contouring, I'd probably be more excited about this, but since I'm not, I'm gonna try the bronzer. I'm usually more of a bronzer person. I use this brush from Rephr. It's the number 9 brush, I think. Mine is the P09. I have so many of these. I don't know. Let me see. Oh, I think maybe it's the 18. They switched the number to 18. So the prototype is number 9, but it's actually the 18. So I'm dipping into the bronzer shade here, and I'm just gonna apply that like I normally would apply my bronzer. That looks really nice. That is a beautiful color. It's almost like a cool tone bronzer in a way, but it definitely works as a bronzing color. It's not too warm, and I actually kind of like that, especially when I don't have a tan. I feel like in the summer I gravitate more towards warm tone bronzers, and I feel like this is actually perfect for me right now. So I'm very excited about these. I think that looks really nice. I don't want to go super heavy. I don't usually put bronzer anywhere else but right here, so that's just what I'm gonna go ahead and do. So far I really like these. I mean, I think that you really can't go wrong with Kaleidos' face products. I think everything that I've tried from them has been amazing. So if you're interested in these, I'm sorry I'm not more enthusiastic, but like, it's a contour palette. How exciting, right? Now, blush, on the other hand, that I'm really excited about. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use one from Kaleidos. This is the kind of red one, and I just wanna show you what this looks like on. I know I've worn it many times, but I haven't really applied it very often on camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start where I would usually start with my blush, just kind of up here, and then blend it downwards. And I always focus most of my color like right up here and then diffuse it out. And I love this color. I think it looks so good. It's not really like a red, obviously. It definitely leans more kind of like berry, but oh my god, it just blends out so beautifully and it looks so nice. And I think it's gonna look really nice with this Ace Beaute palette as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this off. I am nice and blushed, and I have my eyeshadow primer on, and I'll admit I'm not feeling the most creative today, so we're not gonna do anything crazy. I just want to test out these shades. So we're going to play mostly with the corner up here. So I'm going to start with this as my transition shade. I want to see how this dark purple layers. So we're going to start with the lightest one first, because I really think that Ace Beaute has a very layerable formula now. So we're going to go ahead and test it out and see if I am correct. These are just so nice and silky and smooth. I really like the mattes in this palette so far. They've been wonderful to work with. Honestly, both of these palettes so far have just been really, really nice. So I'm just using this as my transition shade, not doing anything fancy at all. This is just going to be a very, very simple look. I think just so I can test out one more shade, I'm going to take this one under my eye because I want to see how different these two really are on the eyes. So that way we'll be able to compare them a little bit. So I'm just going to take this on a small kind of smudging brush. And this is the shade called Glamour. So I'm just going to smoke this underneath my eye, and then I'll connect it with the deepening shade that I'm going to use after. Maybe I should have done that first, but here we are. So to deepen this up, I'm going to use the shade called Wistful. Just starting it in the outer corner like I would with any deepening shade. And I'm just going to get this as dark as I can and then start blending it into my crease, as well as making sure I blend it into the shade that I have underneath my eye as well. But so far that's going on so nicely and very, very opaque. So I'm very impressed by this purple. That looks beautiful. Do you see how opaque and how smooth that looks on the outer corners? That is crazy. Like, this is a beautiful, amazing purple shade. I'm so happy with that. Let's see, what do I want to use on my lid? I'm very tempted to only use this shade right here because I think that would just look so good. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to put down some glitter primer without dropping it like 2 more times. And then we're gonna take the shade called Gleam, which looks so incredible. I'm so excited for this. And I'm just gonna pick that up with the same brush and I'm gonna put it on my eyes. That is a very, very, very pretty pink shimmer. I'm definitely gonna put something in the front portion of my lid just to lighten it up a little bit, but I do want most of this to just be this color. Just blending it into the outer corner shade as well, and that is looking so good. And I think there's only one shade, maybe 2 shades so far that I haven't used. And I don't think I've used this one or this one. So I'm going to take a bit of the shade which is called Halo. I'm going to go ahead and spray this a little bit because I don't like having glitter primer or anything like that under my eyes. And I also don't want to get fallout. So I'm just going to put that right here just for an extra pop of color. And I also just want to try out this shade. I do think that this has more of a dark base than what I was expecting, but it's a really, really pretty duochrome. I really like that. I think on the lid this would have looked a lot better. And just for the icing on the cake, I'm gonna dip into my Noctilucent palette from Blend Bunny, and I'm gonna take the yellow shade in my inner corner because I just think that this is going to complement the look really nicely. Of course, you don't have to do this if you want to recreate anything similar. You can use just a normal face highlighter or even the gold in the palette, but I just feel like that's not really light enough for what it is that I'm looking for. And since I'm wearing gold jewelry, I just think that the yellow is going to look really nice with this, and I think it does. I think this is doing exactly what I wanted to do. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I think that looks really nice. I'm going to do just one last little touch here, and I'm going to take some of that same shade as my brow bone highlight because I think that's just going to kind of pull it all together. Oh, I love the shade as a brow bone highlight. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to use it on my face as well because I love it. I went ahead and put on some lashes, and I'm still using the same lashes that I've been obsessed with ever since I got them. These are the Divine Lights from House of Lashes. There's something about these lashes that are just so perfect, and I don't know even how to explain it. Like, they just pop on so easily. They just look great. They're super comfortable to wear. I love them. They look good with anything. They're a very kind of everyday, kind of friendly. How many times can I say kind of? Lash, and I like that. I like that they're not too intense, but they're still intense enough that they just enhance the look, and I really like that about them. So let's talk about the palettes. I think that these palettes are really, really, really nice. I honestly had no issues with any of them. So while I keep talking a little bit, I will show you the other looks that I've done with this palette as well, because like I said, I had a great time with this. I think the color stories are really, really nice. I think that the combination between the neutrals and the pinks and the purple just work really well in this palette. And I want to do another kind of more neutrally look with this palette. I'm really tempted to do so. So I might do that tomorrow and just not film it, because I'm filming this the day before Thanksgiving. This video is probably going up on Thanksgiving. Maybe the day after, I'm not completely sure, but I'm tempted to do another look with this palette, or at least just play with this palette along with something else. I really want to test out these neutrals a bit more, because I think the tones in them are so, so pretty. But I've just had a really good time with both of these palettes. I think that they were, I don't know if I want to say unexpected from Ace Beaute. I didn't really see it coming, but at the same time, when I opened these and I saw them for the first time, I was like, oh, like, I know that you guys can do good color stories, so I'm not really surprised, but I also wasn't really expecting this when I got these in the mail, and I think that they're really, really nice. I wouldn't say they're necessarily a holiday release, and I like that about them. I like that it's not themed in any way that's like very seasonal dependent, and I think that when you come out with something during the holiday season, these are the kind of items that you end up using again throughout the next year. It's not going to be something that has like Christmas on the front, depending on what it is and who you are and how you like to do your makeup. A lot of the time when it's like very seasonal, I don't tend to want to reach for it outside of that season, and I know that's stupid, but that's just like in my head, I think. But I do think that the Udensai palettes I will probably be reaching for here and there, because those are so pretty. But in general, like Christmas holiday releases, I kind of prefer when brands come out with something that isn't super themed, but still come out with color stories that maybe could work for the time. So I think they did really good with these, and I think that if you're interested in any of them, I think you really like them. I think I mentioned my code in the beginning of the video, but if I didn't, it's just Annette and it will save you 10% off. It is an affiliated code, just so you know. But I think that's gonna be it for the video. I also really like the Kaleidos products. I think they're really nice, like I said earlier. Just not super excited about them, but if you're excited about contour palettes, I think that you'll really like them. So I think I'm just gonna sum it up here, because I feel like this video is already pretty long. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to see some more Ace Beaute content, I will have my playlist up on the screen. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.